Hey everybody, DJ Lou here, and I think everybody knows that I have been a huge proponent of in-ear monitors.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
I've had mine for many years. I actually have two of them, one for my ceremony rig, one for my reception, and I have just, I've sworn by them for so long. I've had people ask me about the extremes, how far can you push them, what's the typical use cases and all that. And while I answer some of those really early on when I did a video on this, you know what, let's talk about this some more. So a while back when I first got my in-ear monitors, I wanted to test just the baseline, what would it be like if I'm working, say, indoors and I need to broadcast out, what would be my typical situation? And this is actually before I brought a specific in-ear monitor antenna from Sennheiser. But again, I wanted to see what I could do. So set my Maui 5 Go's out there, put up the in-ear monitor. I could get up 300 feet through houses, not just my house, there's other houses in the path, and I was still able to get crystal clear reception. I was getting a little bit of a fade in the signal, but nothing discernible where it dropped out. And then I actually walked even farther up the hill, a little over 500 feet, just with the regular quarter wave dipole. And it's still, again, fringe at this point. I had to have it about chest high, but I was still getting a signal. Again, stock antenna. I was really impressed with this. And for many cases, I never needed to go beyond just the stock quarter wave antenna. But ever since I switched to the Towmatic and now my new ceremony rig, I can always have a quality antenna to prop up in the air. In this case, I have a pair of Sennheiser 1301 antennas, and I can get those really high, especially now with my Manfrotto antenna mast. I can get way up. Now I've already shot a video, and I'll put it right after this, of a particular location, Spillian. It's a great place that I love to go to. They constantly recommend me, so I love them for that. And the setup is a little bit challenging. I'm down in a ravine. I'm through some trees, the building as well, the main building. I need to broadcast up for my cocktail music. We basically start down in a ravine for ceremony, work our way up to the house for cocktail, and then typically come back down for dinner and dance. So I don't want to set up a whole secondary setup up there. I'd rather have, of course, everything broadcasting down, and I'm able to do this. I'm going to flip back over here for a second. Again, there was the antenna, and it's kind of hard to tell, but right there, about 325 to 350 feet away, is my pair of speakers that I do for cocktails. So I'm going to take a walk. I do also place one additional speaker here. So I have three Maui 5 Go's, and I like to have that broadcasting up not only to help for lining up for announcements and all that, but it also kind of evens out the sound even as people are walking down. One of the Maui 5 Go's. This one by far is the best signal. I almost never hear dropouts or anything here. This is facing the porch, and people will kind of congregate here too, but mostly on the porch. And I throw another speaker, so that's about 325 feet. And then this one I want to say is more like 360 to 375. Right here. Now, one thing I wish I had, my receivers are down here. One of these days, I think I'm going to mount something on top and just do a long quarter to XLR just to add a little bit more height to that. But I want to do a couple more tests, and one in particular, I'm going to actually put it right at the end of this point. I'm heading over to our mostly abandoned mall now, which has some of the flattest surfaces available, and I wanted to prop things up and just see how far I could go. So let's get to this video. So what I've done is set up my in-ear monitor. I've got my RF Explorer to show the actual signal, and of course my my receivers to check to see how far this goes. Now, I'm not playing any music or anything. I want to do this as a really quick setup, but we'll be able to see when things start to cut off and all that. So I'm going to start walking that way. I'm going to see how far we go. I might be close to about 600 feet, 650 feet. This is now no longer the strongest point in the spectrum, but I'm definitely still, of course, seeing it. I don't know how well you can see it in there. It's actually that middle point right there. But looking at my pack, My pack is still showing not quite full strength, and I've had a couple little drifty points in here. But if I hold it straight up at around chest height, I'm both getting a decent signal on the Explorer and also the pack. Basically in front of Dick's right now. It's a little bit further ahead. We're gonna keep on going. In front of the former J.C. Penney. Again, this is old, now abandoned mall, essentially, with exception of Target, a couple others. Still getting signal. 1,000 feet, I think. I'll throw this, of course, on the map. But, and again, this is not the strongest signal on here, so it's definitely fading. And I did see some drifting between here and there. Of course, have it higher up, it's going to do it. But we are getting really on the fringes. And I will see sometimes a stronger signal, when it comes. But yeah, this is where we're at. I think I actually hit its limit. I'm actually at the edge of the former J.C. Penney. I still will get some medium strength and all that, but as soon as you drift the antenna any degree or two here, it does fall out. I'll throw this on the map. I really want to say this is about 1,200 feet. Could be wrong, but we'll throw it on the map. There you go. So as you can see, you can get a lot out of a quality in-ear monitor. Now, typically, your best bets are going to be the Shure PSM and the Sennheiser in-ear monitor. The latest one on Sennheiser is a G4 model. I would stay away from the other possibilities. Most of the other things that you can broadcast to are going to be either 2.4 gigahertz, which I don't necessarily recommend. You can also do microphone kits. I've known plenty of people that instead of using in-ear monitors, they'll take like the camera kits that you would get from, say, Sennheiser and convert those. Those are okay, but of course you can't do the additional antennas on it, so your performance is going to lag a bit compared to having something with, say, its own dedicated antennas, something you can prop in the air higher. But in a typical scenario, you can probably get away with that with absolutely no problem. Naturally, your use cases are going to vary. Well, there's a video. I hope you liked it, and if so, please engage below. It really helps the algorithm. Hit that thumbs up on this. Subscribe to the channel if you can. As always, stay tuned for more.